So I want to make another video about my eating plan meeting. It's not really a diet, but I guess it is a diet because it's what I eat. But I'm going to talk about a few of the things, the specific things that I eat, and like I say, it has been working for me. First is, of course, the high-fat sources, and that's what I struggle with. And I think I mentioned that in other videos. I struggle getting enough fat because I have 75% or so of my diet's fat, so it's really hard to get 75% diet. So the main thing, the first thing is, of course, and Lori mentioned it in one of her videos, is, get that the right way, coconut oil. It's good, and it's good for you. So it's a good source of fat, and it don't taste bad. You actually eat a spoonful of it. I don't really care for it that way, but there's something else you can do to it that really helps. That this here, I'll show you this. Backwards on my camera. A fat bomb. See, that's a peppermint chocolate fat bomb. And have you ever heard somebody talk about a fat bomb? What is it? I'll tell you what that is. It's just about pure coconut oil, but it has some sweetener in it, and I'll talk about sweeteners here in a minute, and some cocoa. And so basically it's all fat. It's really good. It really is good. I mean, it's like eating a chocolate bar or something. It's real creamy when you eat it. So that, of course, we always try to look for the fatty meat, which is not, I mean, it's still hard to find nowadays. Everyone gets lean meat, so you have to find fatty meat. And I don't buy my meat at the store much anymore, but I go to the packing house, the butcher, I guess. And I was talking to him the other day and said, I want some fatty meat. So he gave me a few suggestions. Ribeye steaks. They don't have ribeyes, but they're club steaks there. So club steaks, ribeye steaks are good for you, and because they're good and fatty. That's why they're good for you. I eat them all. Lori can't sometimes eat all of it, and I eat the fatty gristle and everything. So if I can chew it up by my mouth and swallow it, I'll eat it. But so that's good, and I've been grilling a lot of it. I mean, grilling, you don't have to put much else on it. And then, of course, butter goes on it. That's another thing. I got butter. This is the butter I made today. Fresh made butter. Been in the freezer. It's going to come out as a plastic thing in a minute. But it's good. It's a good source. It's pretty much all fat. It has, well, I guess some carbs in it, but just very low. So those are some of the fat things. And then, of course, coming from that and building on that, so some other things that you can, that, you know, to eat that doesn't give you a lot of carbs. And that's cheese. And the best cheese I discovered is Monterey Jack cheese. Got 0 carbs. And so, got a lot of protein though, and you got to watch getting over on protein, because if you get over on protein, it does the same thing as getting too many carbs. So you got to be careful on getting too much protein. But that's good. I eat some little Monterey. I just been buying mine back. I cut up in little cubes. About 4 of them is an ounce. So, you know, it's pretty easy to measure it. Not if you need to. The other cheese, and this isn't really cheese, is Parmesan cheese. Now, Parmesan cheese, I don't eat it necessarily alone. Nobody who does. This, though, obviously is not much cheese to it. It's mostly sawdust. And so, but it's good. I'll tell you what's good for. If you need something in, like I made some fried chicken, and I used Parmesan cheese as partially in the flour, the breading. It was a combination of Parmesan cheese and crushed up pork rinds. I should have brought pork rinds to show you, but I think everybody knows what they look like. But I crushed up pork rinds, add Parmesan cheese to them, fried my chicken in a deep fryer, and it was pretty darn good. I don't know if it's as good as KFC, but I'm still working on getting it just right. The other thing then I want to talk about is sugar and flour. I don't have any flour to show you, but you just basically don't eat any flour. But there's nut flours, almond flour and coconut flour and the like. They're okay. There's flaxseed meal, which has a little more carbs, but it's good to use in some things. And the main thing on the flour is is you can bake things. Maybe I'll talk about that last, but you can bake some stuff with it, and so you're not completely out with not having any baked goods. But then we're going to talk about sweeteners. First, my little introduction is one of my favorites. This is Mountain Dew throwback. I like it. I got 11 cans in a case, I think, in there, so 10 or 11, I don't know. And I've had it since we started. You know, I've talked about drinking it a time or two, but I don't do it. But I just looked at it. Talking about carbs. This has 44 carbs in it. That's 2 days worth of carbs. That's all you get to drink is that can. If you want to drink it, you can drink it, half of it. And one day, half of it the next day, and you can't have no more carbs. So that's what keeps me from doing it. I really bank my carbs. I go, you know what? I like that, but I sure would like to eat something today. So Mountain Dew's out. So what do? Wife said I got sugar addiction. I don't know. I'm not eating anymore. I quit eating sugar, but I like sweet stuff occasionally. Main thing that I use is, and this isn't necessarily the best thing for you, but I take it once or twice a day, and that's these little things that look like this, and you squirt them in. They got Splenda in them, but it's a liquid Splenda, which is better for you than a powdered. You should never have powdered Splenda. It has maltose, dextrose, whatever, that is bad for you. It gives just like having carbs, and it's an additive, so they don't have to count it. They're deceptive. They can say, well, it's an additive, so we won't count the additive that's into the calorie count. They get away with it. Second one, I think, of course, Lori talked about it. This is something that we use, and the little fat bomb that I had there is a mixture, but it has some of these in there. These sweet drops. These are stevia. Now, stevia actually is a natural product. Of course, in all these things, it's always up for debate. Is it safe or not safe? And stevia, though, it actually has shown to help people that have type 2 diabetes, and they also did studies with it, and people were given it to eat food sweetened with stevia, and they tended not to overeat, whereas people with sugar did. They did a study with that. So it doesn't, and it has no calories, period. There's nothing. It's made from a plant. It's an extract of a plant, and so and it has maybe some health benefits. So it's up in the air. I'm not saying, oh. Now, the only thing I did read about people who have high blood pressure and are on blood pressure medication should not use stevia without consulting a doctor because it lowers blood pressure. So that's extra. Maybe you can take that and not have to take blood pressure medicine so much. The other thing was a sweetener, and this is a powdered sweetener. I don't know how you can say that. Say erythritol. Bought it off Amazon. It's granulated. It's 75% of sweetest sugar. Now it's sugar alcohol. Now some people don't want to do sugar alcohols, and so you have to be able to add the carbs. It says it has quite a few carbs. You read the back, but sugar alcohols don't count in a carb count, and so it ends up being very low. I don't have my glasses on, but it's a lot lower. The last thing I'm going to show you is something that's actually also sweetened with Splenda, and it's liquid Splenda. So, and that is this Torani. This is good stuff. It's sugar-free. This is actually caramel. We've got, I don't know, 7 or 8 bottles of it. They're different flavors. We bought a variety pack, and it's really sweet and really flavorful. I've been using it to sweeten and flavor my yogurt. So I've been doing some homemade yogurt, and I'm going to have video on that. I'm in the process of making it right now. It just takes 2 days to make yogurt. So, and probably I'm going to sweeten it with this stuff. I'm going to use some of those other things too. So there's lots of different things you can take if you have a problem with sweet stuff and you need to have sweet stuff. Now, I've been trying to dial back on my sweet stuff in general, and trying to get stuff less sweet, and then so I get less used to wanting sweet stuff, and I really don't have a lot of trouble with it. It's one of those things that we're so used to eating. There's so much sugar in so many different things that that we just crave it, and it actually does you no good at all. Actually, it's bad for you because it does. And this goes the same for sugar. You say, well, I don't want to eat sugar. It's processed. I'll eat honey, or I'll eat maple syrup, or fruit. But any of those, mainly those ones, those sugars all, and you can throw flour in there too. It's not a sugar, but it's carb. Any carbs, potatoes, beer. I don't drink beer anyway. I don't like it. But alcohols in general are bad carbs. I mean, your liver sees them the same. I'll put it that way. And so, anyway, that's some of the things that you do now. I was talking about sweet stuff. I had one last thing I was going to show you, and we don't eat these. We just made these the other day. This is a little cupcake. Look at that. Okay, it's more like a muffin with some tasty frosting on it, because it's got the other good things you can have is cream cheese. So that's cream cheese icing. I think it's sweetened with Splenda, and it's got something else there. I don't remember off the top of my head. I made them a few days ago.
Almond flour.
Yeah, but the little cupcake, it's a little dry. I think I over baked them, but it was my first try. But it's made with almond flour and I think coconut, just not sweetened coconut, just a raw coconut, shredded, and it's got some pecans in there, or pecans or walnuts, one or the other. That are crushed up. I think it's pecans. Pecans are good for you. They got high fat, and they're not low carbs, so they fit right in the ballpark. And it's got some of that erythritol in here and some stevia together. Usually it's nice to combine stevia and erythritol because stevia can have a little bit of an aftertaste, and erythritol doesn't have any. So but the erythritol is not as sweet as stevia, so you can kind of use them in combination to get the stevia bring up the sweetness, and erythritol kind of cuts the aftertaste. So they say. I don't know. But yeah, we made these, and basically because they're a little dry, we just soak them in a little cream. Because you can have cream. Just don't go crazy on it. But anyway, we're working on it. It'll be better the next time. But they're pretty. Look, it's a pretty cupcake. Anyway, so that's pretty much. I don't want to get this too long today, and I'm already getting close to 15 minutes. So there's a lot of different things you can do. I've kind of had a lot of fun making some different stuff. I've been doing some different meat things, and so grilling, as Caveman loves grill. So it's one thing when you grill meat, you don't have to add a lot of other flavorings to it. But I found out the last batch I made, I usually marinate, and I didn't. Lacks a little flavor. But you can always throw some butter on them, some garlic butter or whatever, and it's good. But so anyway, grilling meat, smoking meat is always good. And I made some, even have, like I say, made fried chicken. You say, well, I can't fry chicken no more. Well, you can. There's nothing wrong with the chicken. And there's certainly nothing wrong with cooking it in grease. Don't use canola oil. Peanut oil for fry-in is better. So it's a nut oil, better for you. So any less processed stuff you can get, the better you are. So that's all I got to say. Until we're going to do some more videos. Butter one up now, making butter. Got a yogurt one coming up. So.